Best of r/malicious compliance episode 26. It's 1993, and my first day of work as a secretary for a high-powered attorney in my hometown. He brags that, when people give a 2-week notice, he immediately takes their office key, has them clean out their desk, and hands them a final paycheck. After 8 months of working for him, I call in needing extra rest one morning. I was at a job interview, then go in at 1 p.m. and tell him I quit. He asks me to finish out the day's work, which I do. At the end of the day, he comes to my desk and asks me to at least finish out the week, stating I put them in a hard spot for not giving a 2-week notice. I remind him that on my first day of employment he told me he did not accept 2-week notices, and that is why I did not give a 2-week notice. I received my final paycheck and walked out with a smile on my face. Thank you. Next. Hi everyone. First post on this forum. On mobile, but I'll try to make it readable. Your girl has terrible grammar but is a native English speaker, so tear me to pieces if you must. On with the story. I work at a national department store part-time and seasonally. Here my focus is just folding men's and women's clothing, putting away clothes from the dressing room, and putting things on the floor that have been returned to customer service. Generally, everyone in my department does a little of everything. We all help each other out, and no one gets too stressed or dumped with a lot of work without anyone to help. Yesterday I clock in and realize I am working with Casey, fake name. I don't love working with her because although she is also seasonal, she feels she can order me around. I figure though everything will be fine. I greet her, ask her about her weekend. I'm just a pleasant person. She's not telling me what to do yet, so that's a win. Later our manager assigns us to different parts of the floor to specifically focus on really folding and organizing. As we go do our separate jobs, I am still checking the dressing rooms and customer service for clothes to put away. About an hour in customer service has gotten really full, so I seek out Casey. Me. Hey Casey, would you mind helping me get stuff from customer service? Casey. Sorry, manager. Wanted me to fold all of these. Me. I understand, but it's really full back there and I could really use your help. Casey. I don't know what to say. This is where they want me today. Shrugs. Me. Okay. I'm pretty shocked that she would just straight up not even help. But I keep on doing the customer service myself. Because customer service is so full it's taking me forever to get through and I haven't made much progress on my project. However, I am working my butt off trying to get everything done. Like Forger, getting my steps in and sweating so bad my bangs are turning into greasy French fries. That's when my manager came to talk to me. Manager. Hey, why haven't you gotten very far on your project? You've have a bunch of time and Casey is almost done. Me. I know, I'm sorry, but I had to deal with customer service. There were so many clothes and it was getting really backed up. Manager. That still doesn't explain why Casey is almost done and you are so far behind. Me. What do you mean? Manager. Casey's been doing the same amount of work and she's almost done. Me. No. Casey told me she couldn't help me today when I asked earlier. I've been doing this all on my own. Manager. Wait. What do you mean? Me. Repeats/recaps. Manager. Well, that was definitely not the best way to handle the situation. Just focus on your work right now. Casey received write-up/warning almost immediately after. My manager told me that if something like this happens again to let a manager know. I ain't no snitch. At the end of the shift Casey came up to me somewhere between crying or angry to ask me why I didn't say I needed help. I'm so glad we don't work together tomorrow. Thank you. Next. I used to work in a soccer stadium in a VIP box area running food and beverages from kitchens, cool rooms to the boxes. So the stadium was going through a bit of renovations and therefore they built bunch of marquees on scaffolding for the guests. Because it was a temporary structure we didn't have a kitchen attached like all the other boxes and all the food needed to be brought from the kitchen from the opposite side of the stadium. So once the guests finished eating I have to take all the dirty dishes stacked about 6 feet high on bread crates all the way back to the kitchen on the other side of the stadium, where the dishwashers are. To go to this kitchen you have to take a lift to the second floor and go into a VIP bar area and do a sharp U-turn into the kitchen. Malicious compliance. We had a manager, let's call him David. He took care of that section and the VIP guests. He had spiky hair, overly self-confident and was a know-it-all type dude. So I took all the dirty dishes halfway around the stadium, took the lift and was going to push the cart into the VIP bar like I have done 100 times, and I meet David. He was like, "Where are you going?" I told he taking the dishes to the kitchen, and then he was like, "No, you can't take it into the VIP bar." I'm like, "I'll be in there for 2 seconds and we'll be inside the kitchen." He was still, "No, you can't take it," firmly. I was tired of walking all the way across and wasn't going to argue with him. So I said fine and left the cart with dirty smelly dishes stacked to a height of a human right outside the entrance to the bar, because in the stadium there is not much space to move around. And I left and told my supervisor what happened. So, all night, all the VIP guests, the shirt sponsors, club shareholders, everyone got into the lift to go to the bar, and when the door opened, greeted with huge stack of unwashed dishes. Next week my supervisor called and said to me, "You can take the dishes into the bar to take to the kitchen from now on, no problem." Apparently poor dishwashers had to wash the dishes early into the morning hours after everyone had left. Edit. Clarification. So it seemed like a lot of people are miffed about dishes having to clean up the plates, and think I'm a lazy for leaving it there. Okay, the only reason I left it there was David have always been a douche, and he tried to douche me in that instance as well. And I ran into David's manager when I was coming out of there, and I told her the situation, and she said she will take care of it. Unfortunately for her, that time guests started coming into suites and there was no moving the dishes once everyone started coming in, and the dishes was later taken down to another downstairs kitchen that wasn't busy, and I know the dishwashers there, and only the dishwashers happy be there and finish it up did it and got paid for it. They didn't dump it on a poor soul who had to catch a bus. This was in Australia, and at casual pay they got paid generously. As for why I didn't stay behind and help, I guess no one had worked as a runner in a stadium. We come earlier than dishwashers or other staff and spend solid 8-10 hours on foot setting up fridges, distributing drinks, setting up marquees, carrying drinks up and down the stairs all shift. Once you finished everything up, you have to pack everything up and send it back to our main stadium on the other side of the town and unload there. We are super busy on game days and there is no time to do anything else. When you finish for the day you can barely stand up. It is no walk in the park. It sucks when you have a pile up as a dishwasher, but I've done that job, and it is not that hard. And I did what I was asked to do. As for David, he was working as a bartender in one of the bars last time I saw him. It was hilarious to see a grown mid-30s man working alongside 18-19-year-old university kids. Thank you. Next. Years ago, I used to work as a medical biller for a surgery center. The administrator who ran the place knew that I worked construction with my father as well on my off times, doing remodeling and building houses. As such, he commissioned us to do some work for her at her personal home. It was small projects, really, installing a new garbage disposal, installing a new mailbox, installing a projector in the ceiling. Easy stuff. Now before I get into the main part of the story, I must tell you, she was very stingy with money. We had an autoclave that needed servicing at work, and she refused to pay for the workers' travel time of 2 hours for a 30-minute job. She refused to pay a lot of the medical equipment bills until she was threatened with collection notices or refusal to send any future items. She even told us to not waste patient bands over no-shows, and instead place another patient sticker over the old ones, which could be a HIPAA violation, but she didn't care. This is important to know. One day, she came to me and asked if we could take a look at her flooring in her exercise room. She had said the water heater had busted, and as a result from sitting too long, her flooring was swollen from being waterlogged. So my dad and I went over there to assess the situation, and determined that we could do the job for a total of $400 plus material. We weren't out to strike it rich, but really to help the community by providing quality service at a low rate. She was happy with the price, and told us she would pick out the new wood she wanted laid down. We told her that she would need about 100 slats for the repair we were going to do, as well as new plywood for the base. She seemed okay with that. She went to Los Angeles one weekend, and came back with material that she wanted to use for the flooring. Only, she had about 30 of the requested 100 to do the job properly. On top of that, she did not think that she needed to get a new sheet of plywood. He informed her that the old plywood was moldy, swollen, and would only cause problems down the road. She eventually agreed to purchase the plywood replacement, but she was not going to purchase more wooden slats. Instead, she demanded that we use most of what was already there. Yes, the swollen pieces, but to tear up the slats in the little alcove that was not hit with water damage and place the damaged ones there. We did everything we could to convince her this was a bad idea. We told her that wood doesn't magically shrink when it dries out. We told her that joining the swollen pieces with non-swollen pieces would be near impossible. We told her that the moisture would invite more trouble down the road and provide for an uneven floor setting. She was having none of it. She knew better, and did not want to spend more than she already had. So, we went to work. We tore up the old pieces, saved the best ones, and started laying down the new pieces first. Then we tore up the pieces in the alcove and matched them with the new pieces, too. Per her instructions, we placed the least damaged slats in the aloud, doing everything we could to make it look presentable. Lo and behold, though, it was all uneven. It raised in spots. It had gaps in spots. It didn't fit quite right. But that's what she wanted done, and that's what she was going to get. Despite our best efforts, we were absolutely shocked when she said that the flooring looked horrible, despite us telling her that it would look horrible with the damaged slats. Okay, no, we really weren't shocked at all. She demanded that we tear up the floor again and fix it the right way. We told her sure, but you'll have to pay us another $400, plus get the other slats that we requested. She got livid, said we were horrible people, and refused to continue on. The next day, I quit the job after she came in and badmouthed my dad in front of my coworkers. But I heard from my coworkers that she had to hire someone else to do the job, and it cost her $1,200 for the labor alone, plus another $400 in wooden slats, all because she was so certain she knew better than the guys who have been doing the work for years. Thank you. Next, I was babysitting my cousin, 5 years old, yesterday, and he went to the bathroom and apparently he had started going with his arms spread, not touching anything. Cousin, do I have to wash my hands? Me, I guess not. Cousin, why yes. Apparently he crawled under the stall yesterday at the mall in order to not touch anything. Bright idea, wrong method. Thank you. Next, just a quick story. My mother likes great bargains and finding good deals. If she's in a market where she can negotiate items and freebies, she's gonna go above and beyond in order to buy the most she can without paying more than she absolutely must. She's charismatic and respectful enough about it that she's never a choosing beggar about it. She's a regular to most of the shops she goes to. She brings in other customers for them, and store owners like her. Anyways, we were at a duty-free mall and my parents were looking to buy a new set of speakers. I'm just off to one side listening to my music and watching our cart. Obviously my mom can't haggle prices here, so she asks about freebies. Apparently, she gets a free karaoke home system with it. Alright, cool. My mother asks about more freebies. I look at her incredulously for a brief moment. Then I go back to playing some games after my mother shrugs at me. They start talking about this jacket adapter for the speaker and karaoke system. I'm not really paying attention, but I hear my mom ask if she can get the jacket as a freebie since it's just a small thing anyway. My mother's tone can be easily dismissed as joking, so I didn't expect the guy assisting them to say, "Sure, mom, I'll give you a free jacket." A few minutes later, after they're finalizing their purchase, the guy comes back and deadass hands my mom a jacket. Like the uniform he's wearing to advertise the karaoke system. "Here's your free jacket, mom." Thank you. Next. This just happened today, not so much malicious, but I think it fits. You'll be the judge. I'll try to keep it small. On mobile, English not my first language. I arrived at the bus station and asked for a ticket at the next bus to my city. That was still an hour and a half for it to leave, but I was told that I couldn't buy it as it was too close for its departure time. The bus left from another city and would just make a quick stop where I was, and they couldn't ensure the bus would have any empty seats as it could pick up people on some stations on the way. The thing is, I had just seen on their webpage that the next bus had 8 seats left, and I said so to the lady who was selling the tickets. But she still refused to sell me and told me I should wait for the bus to arrive and then I could buy a ticket if it had any empty seat. Instead, I took my phone, showed to her the empty seats and bought a ticket for me. Then I gave her the code for the purchase and asked her to print my ticket for me. I had to pay the equivalent of about $1 extra to buy the ticket online, but that was worth the trouble. She gave me my ticket, but kept complaining that maybe when the bus got there it wouldn't have a seat for me. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to wave her goodbye a little over an hour later when I boarded the bus, and that's where I am right now. Edit. Bad mobile formatting.